Hi everyone, in this video we are going to see that how we can configure EBGP neighborship in between two routers. These are the Cisco routers. I am using one of the tools, and before configuring EBGP neighborship in between these two routers, we must note few key points. The first thing is that two routers are directly connected with one another and the IP addressing is already done on the interfaces of the router. Next, in between these two routers, as you can see, router 1 is part of an autonomous system number which is 65000 and router 2 is part of AS number which is 65001. Now, in this scenario, if two routers are part of different autonomous system number, there will be EBGP neighborship formed in between them. So let's start the configuration. First of all, we will take router number 1 and the CLI of router 1 will be on the left hand side of the screen and CLI of router number 2 will be on the right hand side of the screen. So on router 1, I will give the command router BGP and we have to give the AS number. The AS number is 65000. Once I have entered the AS number, then we will give the command neighbor, the neighbor's address. Now, point to note over here is that router 1's neighbor is router number 2 physical interface IP address, which is this. So, the neighbor's IP address over here will be 100.101.102.2. Once we have given the IP address, in the next keyword, we are going to give the keyword as remote AS. Now, remote AS means that my neighbor is present in which AS number? My neighbor is present in AS number 65001. Once I have given this command, the same procedure will be followed on router number 2, and on router number 2 we will give the command router BGP. AS number is 65001. Now the neighbor's address will be 100.101.102.1 and the remote AS number will be 65000. Once we have entered these commands, you will observe that a log message will be shown on the CLI screen of both the routers after a few minutes. This means that both the routers EBGP neighborship have been formed. Now, a small challenge which you will see is in the configuration on router 2, the neighbor's IP address is wrong. So what we are going to do is we are going to correct this neighbor IP address. So we will go in router BGP AS number 65001. And once we have entered in the BGP, we will remove the previous command. We can run the command no and give the exact command which we want to remove. Next, we are going to give the exact IP address, you can say, of the neighbor, and the remote AS will be 65000. Once you have completed this, now you can see the IP is given and the neighborship have been formed in between these two routers. To confirm this, we are going to run the command show IP BGP summary on both the routers, and what you are going to note down is on both the routers show IP BGP summary. On both the routers, you will observe that there is nothing written below the state option. When I will see it below state, there is nothing written. So that means the neighborship have been formed. The second command to verify is show IP BGP neighbor command. So in show IP BGP neighborship command, what we can see is we can see that from router 1 there is one neighbor, and let's see how many messages are being received from the neighbor. These are the number of messages which are received from the neighbor or being sent to the neighbors. The alternate, or you can say another command to verify the BGP neighborship is show IP BGP neighbors, but you can give the exact router ID of the neighbor, that is 100.101.102.1. So with the help of this, we can get the exact neighborship information, and you can see that in this output, our neighborship is in established state. That means the neighborship in between these routers are working fine.